So we are here, NAB 2017, with Ambient. We're here with Klaus Grosser. Klaus, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, as said. So every time happy.
Thank you. So what's new at NAB for you?
So yes, the big announcement we have this year for NAB is actually a small box. It's the smallest box we ever built, and it's called the NanoLockit. It was released or announced just last week, and it's going to ship in first week of May. It's been in development for quite a while actually, because what it is it's a shrunk down version of what we did with with our Lockit boxes, and we investigated, and then it took us almost 2 years to get to that size, because it's getting all the features we have in our big Lockits in a very small, compact form. At the same time, we've been working hard on our software to take the pain out of timecode, because we know that people are confused about how to operate timecode, set the frame rates correctly, and we did major improvements in our graphical interface on the standard Lockits, and we came up to a point where we found we don't need a graphical interface anymore, because we have all those algorithms working in the backgrounds and taking out the guesswork and the challenge of getting the timecode correct. And this is what we have with the NanoLockit. It's a non-display timecode generator, a wireless non-display timecode generator.
So how does one interact with it if there's no display?
So we have set up a radio system, a proprietary radio system we call the ACN. And the NanoLockit takes full advantage of that. So they are completely compliant and compatible with all our Lockit gears. So they work in all the ACN modes. And within the Nanos themselves, you can sync them wirelessly. And by syncing, I mentioned the algorithms, they also take the frame rate. So you make sure you're always working on one frame rate. So you just got to make sure the source is set correctly too. And then everything works out without any interaction.
Now it can work with the master unit, but does
absolutely can. Yes.
Does it need to?
It doesn't need to. It's completely modular. So we have the pro user in mind that has existing timecode equipment. He can immediately incorporate the Nanos into his workflow and have them, like say, on Arri Alexas or RED cameras, because they come with a full ACN interface that support RED cameras. So you would see them pop up on the master Lockit, and can take the metadata and forward them to our script app for that. But we also, of course, have the DSLR user in mind, the timecode novice, and with our experience, we can help those people to get proper timecode without really digging into that complicated matter.
Fantastic. Tell me about the user interface. How does this work?
Basically, once it is on, it's a one-button operation. So, of course, you need to have one button pressed to switch it on, which is by the power button. It comes on green, and it blinks green, red, alternating, which means there is a real-time clock running into it. But at that time, the timecode output is muted, because unset timecode is as good as non-timecode.
Yes.
And while you won't notice necessarily a non-set timecode, you will immediately notice if there's non-timecode. So we mute the timecode when not set. You do so on multiple units, they start running, and you pick either of those, and then you just press the green button for 3 seconds, and it will send out a jam signal to all the other units. You can immediately see they are up in sync, and they're running on the same frame rate, they're running on the same time.
And how do you set the time?
You can set the real-time clock, you can set via our PC and Mac-based program. You can set it via user bits, and you can set it via our master Lockit. So there are multiple ways in getting that. And even when you jam two units, and one has a non-set real-time clock, they will synchronize the real-time clock as well.
Okay. So you would jam one with a timecode source. That's one way to do it.
Exactly.
And then it'll wirelessly transmit to the other.
Yeah.
And once they're locked together, once you rejam one, will it continually?
Yes, you can do that in operation. So even if you take another unit in that has not been synced yet, you just repeat to press the green button a second time. It will send out the pulse and get the new one into the network as well.
Got it. And tell me about battery life.
Battery life is, with a full charge, you can get easily 35 plus hours of operation.
Wow.
That's after 2 hours charge. A 15-minute charge will even cover you the half of a day, like 4 to 5 hours. 30 minutes charge will take you an average shooting day. When you apply USB power, they will automatically power up. So if you have them on the camera and power them via a small converter cable, you don't even need to consider going to the camera, jamming the unit. You can do that without having access to the camera. So AC will love you for that. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But speaking of which, this is the Pro set, but we also have the DSLR user in mind. For this, we have implemented a feature to adjust the TC output level on fly while on the unit with the red and green button to pat that down to microphone level without detaching it and using an app. So while we have the updated program, which is not an app exactly, you don't need that. So you can do everything you need to do on the unit itself.
Fantastic. What accessories are included?
So the unit ships with 2 strips of Velcro, ships also with a small cable, which allows immediate use on DSLR cameras, because we know that the professionals really appreciate having the industry standard 5-pin LEMO, while the timecode novice will not know where to source those cables. We decided to include a cable that goes from LEMO to mini jack, which you can use to feed timecodes to the camera and also jam the units from other mini jack timecode sources.
Thank you very much.